Okay, hey, are you thinking about moving to Highland Park, located inside of Dallas, Texas? Well, if you are, you are in the right channel. We are here today to spill the Texas tea on the lifestyle and homes in the Big D, and more particularly Highland Park today. And I am starting with a map tour. You can see here that I've pulled up the map of Dallas. Let me zoom out here. Here is downtown Dallas, right here. We have downtown Dallas here. There it is, that's the heart of Dallas. And then right here, we have mostly nestled between the Dallas North Tollway here and Highway 75 here, we have Highland Park. And it is also just inside this loop here. This is this outer loop 12. So this is Highland Park right here. Okay, I'm gonna start the map tour today with a question for you. Here's my question is, why is it that Highland Park in Dallas, Texas is referred to as the Beverly Hills of Texas? Well, I'm going to tell you the answer to that. It's because the landscape architect, Wilbur David Cook, that designed the layout of Highland Park was actually the same man, the same landscape architect that after he started the design of Highland Park between 1907 and 1909, he designed the layout for Beverly Hills. And one of the things he did was these major kind of curvilinear thoroughways. You've got Armstrong Avenue, and you also have Beverly Drive here. There's also some here like, following the path of Turtle Creek. We've just got roads that follow along, the water paths. Here we go. So he didn't just stick to the north and south, east and west kind of roads. He did some other kinds of roads. And Highland Park also, one of the things he did was he reserved about 20% of the area. It's about 2.2 square miles. 20% of the area has been kept as parks, designated parks, to improve the quality of life for all the residents. And it's also called Highland simply because it's about 150 feet higher than downtown Dallas. And if you're in downtown Dallas in a high rise that looks towards Highland Park, yeah, you can see it's a little bit higher and it's lots and lots of trees. So Highland Park is named because it's a higher piece of land and it's 20% parks. Another interesting thing about Wilbur Cook is that he was the protege of the Olmsted brothers who designed Central Park in New York. So if you live in New York and you know about Central Park, then Highland Park may be your thing. Or if you live in California and you love Beverly Hills, you may love Highland Park. Don't quite have all the same hills, but we have exactly the same street name of Beverly Drive right here, just like Beverly Drive in Beverly Hills. And some of the greenways that he designed actually feel like here on Lakeside Park, you drive down the street and you're seeing these beautiful homes dotted along on one side. And then on the other side of the street, you can just park and get out and enjoy nature for a moment. One of the most beloved spots here, Lakeside Park, is you can go across here and there is Teddy Bear Park. On Christmas Eve of 1995, the Crow family gifted these wonderful teddy bear sculptures done by J.T. William in this little park that is across the little bridge here. And it's right behind the Crow family home that's on 7.7 acres, a 35,000 square foot home. It's fenced and gated. It's right behind Teddy Bear Park, and that's valued at well over $50 million. So then there are other homes available in Highland Park for those kind of prices, although the current average price in Highland Park is about $3 million for a home. There are certainly those that go there that are 10, 18, 35 million. Also, currently there's about maybe 35 properties on the market, and the days on market for a house sold is about 52 days on market, which is much shorter than the rest of Dallas-Fort Worth. And Highland Park has notably increased in value at a higher percentage rate than other areas in Dallas. That does mean your taxes that are already high in Highland Park, that gets to be a big tax bill, but at the same time, the high sticker price is going to be something when you go to sell, you're going to get your money back out of. Okay, another park I'd like to point out here is this little sliver, and I'm standing at it in one of my other videos. This is called Flippin' Park. Really pretty. It's got a gazebo and a fountain, and people can rent that out for special occasions, weddings, things like that. Another feature throughout this Highland Park area, you will notice this big green space right here that goes over Mockingbird. Okay, that larger green space there is the Dallas Country Club, and it is a very exclusive club. I talked to a gentleman yesterday that's been a member for a long time. He loves it. He golfs, his wife plays tennis, and they also go, he said, on Fridays for the fried fish and gumbo. But he said, well, what I hear is there is quite a waiting list. And I think that's very true. And not only is there a waiting list, but you have to be invited and recommended by 2 people. So, it's a beautiful oasis just right there in the heart of Highland Park. If you think you might want to do that and be part of that country club, you'll want to get your name on the list sooner rather than later. There are also, within Highland Park, there are lots of little tennis courts, and those are for residents only. You can go online to the Highland Park website and apply for access to those and reserve a tennis court, pickleball court for when you want to go play. And that is a big thing for a lot of the ladies and men in Highland Park. You see them out having lunch together after their tennis tournaments. So another little place I want to show you that is right by the country club, right here is where the oldest outdoor shopping in the United States is. But this is where you're going to find your Rolex, your Chloe, your Chanel, or your designer shopping. But also you can just go to Mi Casina and get a good lunch. There's an Italian place. There is a Bistro 31 that is great for brunch. And I also really like Sadel's. You can go in there and get a nice coffee, a gluten-free bagel. And I think that's a great place to go by. And they had really nice iced tea. Also here in Highland Park Village, you see Park House. It's on the 2nd level up above the Oscar de la Renta salon to find clothes, beautiful clothes. Really beautiful. But Park House brings in special guest lecturers, artists, and that is something you have to pay a membership for. There are other clubs other than the country club that are popping up. There's like a wine club, there's this Park House club, and Christmas is a really big deal. You can even get a horse-drawn carriage and go through and watch the Christmas lights, and you won't really see Victorian homes, even though this whole area was built out, starting early 1900s when Victorian was still a style. What you're going to see in here are more like brick and stucco homes and not wooden homes. So you'll see Spanish Revival, you'll see Mediterranean, you'll see Tudor, you'll see French chateaus, some more traditional looking homes, some Georgian and colonial revival styles. There are some mid-century homes. The population's of just under 9,000 people. The schools are top rated. Highland Park it was designed 1907, 1909, and then I believe it was about early 1900s, 1913, I think. It was right about there. It was voted in, the citizens voted to become their own little town of Highland Park, which later Dallas asked, hey, do you want to come back and be part of Dallas? And they politely declined. But that means that the taxes are a little bit higher, and Highland Park has its own police and sanitation and all those kind of services, which means that Highland Park having its own means that those services, they show up quickly. You need the police. The safety ratings, you can go look for yourself, but they are much higher than a lot of areas in Dallas, and so are the schools. The schools are much rated. So although you are paying a high price point for the luxury of living in Highland Park, you also have to consider that you want to do your research on some of the Dallas schools, that sometimes a lot of people living in Dallas that have the means will utilize the private schools, 15 to 25,000, somewhere in there per kid to go to private school. I mean, think if you had 4 kids and it was 25, that's 100,000 a year that could be paying a mortgage in Highland Park. So I do know people that have said, wow, that was the greatest decision we made, that we just went ahead and bought that house in Highland Park, and the kids had a great school experience and they didn't, have the cost of private schools. If you need to be near downtown Dallas or near, certain things about that, then, you're going to benefit from investing in living in this neighborhood. This area right here, this is all SMU. And that's Southern Methodist University. They have some great undergraduate programs like business, and then really good graduate programs as well. There is the Meadows Museum. That is one of the best collections of Spanish art. There is also right here is Snyder Plaza that has some great shopping. Love Kubi's for some German food. You can go there for lunch. It's just more shopping, like a bookstore, more places to eat. And a lot of people from Highland Park just go up to the Knox-Henderson area, which is a little bit north, and they like to shop just kind of there. Or they'll go up here to Loop 12 right here. You've got North Park Mall. Also, Highland Park is flanked with some really great grocery stores not far. You got Trader Joe's, you've got some Whole Foods. It is only 10 minutes to downtown, but if you are trying to go downtown in rush hour, it will be a little bit longer than 10 minutes. There is a beautiful Methodist church at SMU that was built in the 1800s. And Highland Park they have a lot of beautiful churches. They have a lot of great people that do a lot to serve and give back to the community. The friends I've had that live in Highland Park have been some of the most generous that I have known. Okay, so the Dallas Country Club was actually started in 1896. So before Highland Park was even designed and laid out, the Dallas Country Club had been started. And the other landscape planner that helped lay out Highland Park was John Kessler. And there was also another area not too far away called Kessler Park, which is also a nice little area. If you don't want to quite pay the price of Highland Park, but want some great architecture and charm to the neighborhood, Kessler Park is also one to look at. We can go there. The residents are very well heeled. They take care of their yards, they take care of their houses, and it is just a very well cared for kind of area. And generally, I think like over 85% of the residents are college educated. Education's important. Celebrating community holidays, religious events, all those things are really important in Highland Park. If you're wanting to rent, there are very few places to rent in Highland Park. It is almost the whole area they are single family homes that are owned by individuals. Just south of Highland Park is this whole uptown area. And that's also, you can see down here, like on McKinney Avenue, all these great places to eat. And a lot of people from Highland Park come down here. There's also shopping inside the Crescent. You can go to the Stanley Korshak inside the Crescent. They have great Christmas gifts. You can get valet parking, or you can park underneath and then go up and shop. There's also a 60 Vines there to eat inside or outside, and the Capitol Grill. And by the way, my name is Janée. I always say don't delay, call Janée. But my Where to Live in Dallas, Texas team and I are always helping people with their successful Texas transition. So if you are wanting to talk about that, you can get our information in the description, or it's also pinned to the top comment below. You can give us a call, send an email, or schedule Zoom if you want to talk with us. And if you're just wanting to binge on more of these videos and learn more, go ahead and click the bell so you'll get notifications when new ones drop, and also go ahead and subscribe to this channel. So Abbott Park right here, there's Abbott Park. It runs along the Katy Trail right here. Let me zoom out to show you that Katy Trail. So here's the Katy Trail. Here's Abbott Park right here. That's in Highland Park. And here's the Katy Trail that runs down this way. And Katy Trail is a place that it's a 3.5-mile walk. And the history of it is it was the Kansas, Missouri, Texas Railroad that ran along this pathway, shortened to the Kansas, Texas, KT or Katy Trail. That's where it gets its name. And in the 1990s, a nonprofit was formed called Friends of the Katy Trail, that they make this pathway clean and nice and for everybody. And all day long you see people out with their dogs, walking, biking, jogging, and it is a very much loved part of Highland Park into Uptown. Highland Park might be for you, it might not be for you, but finding you the perfect place, the perfect place for you to live in Dallas isn't going to be what would be perfect for someone else. It is a very much case-by-case basis, and different families want different things. Highland Park and University Park together are called the Park Cities. University Park, the price point will be a little bit lower. Some of those homes also go to Highland Park schools. The ISDs in Texas are a separate taxing entity, and they don't always line up when their boundaries with the names of the cities. Go ahead and just subscribe and hit the bell to get more of these. You can binge watch all you want by watching the next video, and you will know more about Dallas than a lot of Dallas people know before long. Oh, by the way, if you have more questions, put them in the comments, or if there's something that you just love about Highland Park that maybe I didn't mention, put it down below, because I'd love to know what your thoughts are, and I always want to hear from my viewers.
Texas isn't just a place,
It's a promise. Texas opens doors to opportunities. It's big land and bold living. And whether it's city lights or country nights, Texas has it all. No state income tax, a booming economy, strong values, strong families. Your future starts here. Buy bold, live free, and own Texas. Your only decision is where to live in Texas. Whether you savor wide open skies or skyline views, our team in Dallas and trusted partners across Texas are here to guide you every step of the way. To be a part of Texas tomorrow, call today. Don't delay. Call Janée.